Welcome to ParkTV 16 Sports presentation of high school girls volleyball. Tonight we are broadcasting from the St. Louis Park High School, where the St. Louis Park girls varsity Orioles are taking on the visiting Chaska Hawks in this Metro West Conference volleyball game. This is the first conference game for both teams, and they come in with differing records. Unfortunately for the Hawks, they are 0-3 coming into this match. Meanwhile, the St. Louis Park Orioles, coming off of an impressive win over Irondale just 2 nights ago in this arena, is 3-2. The starters for St. Louis Park are as follows. On the front line, number 16 is Hannah Howell. Next to her in the middle is number 14, the freshman, 5'10", Reagan Alexander. Miss Howell's also 5'10" up there. Also on the front line, Kim Lindgren, a senior, 5'7". Starting out in the back row and serving is number 15, Michaela Winward, along with Ella Trotter, number 2, and the libero is Maddie McIntosh, number 6. And we're underway, game 1. Winward serves. It's a nice set to Alexander, but she misses the spike, so first point goes to Chaska, and side out also goes to them. Starting out serving for the Hawks will be number 4, Anna Doolittle. 5'9", sophomore libero, and her first serve goes into the net, so that's a point for St. Louis Park. Both teams little cold right off the start. So St. Louis Park will now serve, and that is Kim Lindgren, number 4. She had a great night the other night against Irondale. And that service is in. And the set, miscommunication on the part of the Hawks. And that means a point for St. Louis Park. It is now 2-1. Park. Lindgren's second service. She does that jump serve. Those can be hard to control. Lindgren makes the save. McIntosh, Trotter, nice spike deep row against Chaska. They'll have difficulty getting this, and they just save it. Oh, and a miscommunication between McIntosh and Lindgren. Each thought the other was going to take it. Look at that nice save there. That tells you never to get up. That was just a saving thing, and McIntosh, I think, thought Lindgren was gonna come over there, but she wasn't, so point to the Hawks, 2-2 early on here, game 1, best of 5. Serving for Chaska is number 15, Briar Zeimer, a 5'6" freshman. There's Trotter, watch for her all game long. She's got a heck of a spike. And no, nice dig there by McIntosh going to the ground. Chaska gets it over, Lindgren comes up, Winward, and Trotter goes for the spike from several yards behind the net, and that goes long, so point to the Hawks, and Briar Zeimer will be serving for another point here. Goes to the back row, there's Winward to Trotter, and she lets it fly. Looks like it hits something at the net, and there's Lindgren. Winward, back to Trotter. Oh, and she mistimes her jump. Point inside out to Chaska. There's the replay, and it just didn't quite match it there, but it's early on. They'll take a while to get their timing down. And another point goes to the 0-3 Hawks. They're off to a 5-2 early lead, game 1. Briar Zeimer going for her 4th consecutive point here. It was 2-1 when she started serving. There's McIntosh to Winward. Trotter now with a nice spike, but nice save there by Zeimer, and the left-handed spike by Chaska, number 6. That was Siri Olsen. She's the 5'10" senior captain. She lets fly with another one, and that's gonna equal a point. 6-2, Chaska. Orioles huddle, and yes, timeout wisely taken by the St. Louis Park head coach Whitney Mariotto Simon. Last match, she let the lead get away on game 1 to Irondale. I think it was like 10-2, 10-3 before she called timeout, and they never could get back in it. So these timeouts can be, look at this spike from number 6, Siri Olsen. Lindgren valiantly tries to save it, but boy, that spike had way too much velocity on it and was well placed by the Hawks. So we come out of the 1-minute timeout here. We'll see if there's any substitutions. Looks like the Hawks have their original 6, which includes number 6, Siri Meyer, number 8, Bailey Harms, number 12, Dana Schindler, the co-captain. Meanwhile, that is Zemer serving for her 5th point, and Trotter lets it fly, but it goes wide right. Much better looking spike there. She'll catch her wind here and get her gauge down. Just give her a little bit to warm up. Much better spike, just way off the mark. There's Windward, and a little confusion on the Orioles. And here come the Hawks, number 5 with the spike. That's Michaela Rambolt, junior, 5'11", mid hitter. Nice job by her. Here's the replay. Just a give and go, right back to her, bang. Found the open spot just past McIntosh. So 8-2 early lead by Chaska. There's Windward with another set, and off the mark for Alexander. Look out, here come the Hawks. And Trotter goes for the drop shot, and it works well, and she gets a point for the Park Orioles, and boy, did they desperately need one. Now down 8-3 on the serve. There's the nice replay, well placed, nice vision shown by number 2, Ella Trotter, the senior 5'9" outside hitter. Okay, now serving is number 14, Reagan Alexander. She started, she's the freshman, 5'10", see if she can do some damage. And there's the jump serve, she gets it in. Boy, nice job by the Hawks, incredibly efficient. Bump, set, serve, point, side out, look at that, just bang. Right at the feet of Alexander, nothing she could do. So now serving for the Hawks was the lefty, number 6, Siri Olsen, and the Hawks are playing some excellent volleyball. Their 0-3 record does not do them justice. They are dominating here, game 1 early. Siri Olsen, the co-captain, serving for her 2nd consecutive point and the 11th of the match for the Chaska Hawks. That's Trotter with the bump, Windward with the set back to Trotter, and she lets it fly, nice. Saved there by Chaska, they bump it over. There's Windward again, and we got a net violation called by the far judge. So that is a point for St. Louis Park, and should result in service. Although there's some discussion with a Chaska Hawk coach. Sue Murphy is the head coach, I assume that's her. She had a question about the call. So there is a change, and in comes number 7, Julia Austin, who had a strong performance against Irondale this past Tuesday, and she gets a nice serve off. And, oh, big spike attempt, and that ball sails wide left. So now the Hawks have 5 points. Here's that big, nice looking spike by Michaela Rambolt. Sails wide left, so Ostad serves again. Drop shot doesn't work for the Hawks. Here comes Trotter, and she lets it fly with a nice top spin spike, and that ball dives right down into the open space by her. Watch this spike, and look at the spin on it. Bang, just goes right down like a curveball or a sinker in Major League Baseball. That is really nice. Another spike by the Hawks. The block by the Orioles doesn't work, but they do get back in the game, rattling off 3 points on the hot hand of Julia Ostad. Now they're down 5. And serving for the Hawks, substituting in is Emma Nicholas, a junior 5'10" setter, and that ball goes out. So now it's 7-11. And serving is Ella Trotter, number 2. There she is. See if she does that jump serve. She did that on Tuesday and was not very accurate. And at the end of the match, she changed. Point there goes to the Hawks. She changed to just not jumping and got a lot of balls in, and I think was instrumental in them winning. But she got that serve in. Unfortunately, the Orioles were not able to capitalize on that. So the Hawks serve. There's a set by Ostad to number 4, Kim Lindgren. Hawks save it. Trotter to Ostad to Lindgren, and she tries to drop shot. It doesn't work. Ostad again, this time to Windward. Nice spike, goes off the ceiling, which is fair play. Hawks save it. Nice volleyball being performed by both teams here. Lindgren with the spike, and it drops off the block. Wow, they really worked for that point. Orioles are starting to step up their game here. They're now just down 4. Watch that. Goes off the fingertips and finds the open floor. Serving now is Maddie McIntosh. Big spike goes long. Number 12, Dana Schindler, the captain. She's 6'1", senior. Takes that spike, but it sails it long, so now it's 9-12. Maddie McIntosh going for her 2nd consecutive point. Successful service. There's a drop shot by the Hawks. Ostad, Windward does her own drop shot, saved by the Hawks. Olsen, Schindler, now Ostad and Lindgren. Big spike and a block and a save by the Orioles, and it goes through and finds the open floor. 3rd point in a row for McIntosh. It's now 10-12, and the Orioles are coming back. Good spirited crowd on hand here. McIntosh, another successful service. That's Windward. Trouble for the Hawks. Miscommunication, and that is the 11th point for the Hawks and the 4th in a row for number 6, Maddie McIntosh. Everybody was standing around there, so I don't know if the Hawks look a little tired at this point, but they are reeling right now. Oh, nice job by Lindgren right at the net. Boy, the Orioles have really stepped up the intensity, and it's showing on the scoreboard. They've evened this match at 12. McIntosh going for her 5th point. There's a drop serve, and nice job by number 12 for the Hawks. Reading the defense, she got McIntosh to come in, and rather she fakes the spike and then drops it as she came in. You can see McIntosh was going in, she slapped her hands, she knew she went for the fake, but that's always, it's difficult to sometimes know. All right, so the Hawks lead by 1, and serving is Schindler. Windward, Trotter, nice spike. What a save there by number 15 for the Hawks, Bria Zeimer. And their spike attempt sails wide and long, so point for the Park Orioles. Murphy, the head coach, barking instructions from the sidelines. There you can see the red flag go up on the replay. So serving is number 15. That's Michaela Windward, sophomore, 5'7". She's a very effective player, and another spike goes long. And Park takes the lead for the first time in game 1. There's Windward going for her 2nd consecutive point. She also does the jump serve, and that goes off the back row. There's trouble for the Hawks as it goes off the ceiling. Olsen hits the I-beam over the net, and that results in a point for St. Louis Park. This is a old building. There's a big I-beam that stretches parallel right over the net, and it is a good, I'd say from my estimation, 4 feet from the ceiling that hovers over the most of the court except for the net. That is really a problem if you're a visiting team and you're not used to it. Lindgren, oh, she caught the end of the line. Boy, that could have gone either way. Boy, Murphy, the coach for Chaska, does not agree with the call. She calls timeout, but You know what? You can't say it. Oh, yeah, hit right on the line. Nice call by the back judge. And that means it's 16-13. The Orioles have really come storming back here. 1 minute timeout taken by the Chaska Hawks. They were in control of game one. I think it was 12-3 at one point, or 12-4, and now it's 16-13. Basically gone on a 10-1 run here. Just got a great call on the back line, so all the momentum is with the St. Louis Park Orioles. Big conference matchup here with the Chaska Hawks. So as we come out of the timeout, there's Murphy, the Chaska coach. Obviously thinking all the time, looking for a way to motivate her players to regain the lead. Meanwhile, Windward, number 15, is on a run, serving, and her jump serve gets to the back row. Nice job. And there's the spike by 5. That's Rambolt. And Howell finds some open space on a beautiful spike, but the set was just as important. Watch the set here. I think that was McIntosh. There's a nice bump by McIntosh. That's Windward with the beautiful behind the head set, and Howell goes straight up and puts it down. 17-13 Orioles. Windward still serving. Windward comes to the front row, does the set this time to Lindgren. Chaska has to punt it across. Trotter, there is Windward, this time to the freshman. And they call an illegal hit on the Hawks. Here is Rachel Alexander, goes for the drop shot, and they called an illegal hit. So, oh, wait a minute, they gave the point to, not sure what that call was though. Must have been into the net on the Orioles. So it's 17-14, and Chaska has the ball back, serving. Oh, nice block there by number 4, Lindgren, and number 14, Alexander. She used all 5'10" of her frame to look at that with the fingertips. Alexander, she did not touch the net. Well done. 18-14. And Lindgren, number 4, Kim, is serving. It gets a nice serve to the back row. Big spike there by Rambolt, number 5. Saved by the Orioles. Trotter now. Didn't get a good set there. Couldn't put all her power in it. This time, Alexander tries to spike it. And it sails wide right into the Hawks bench. So 18-15. First one to 25 wins the game. And that is number 15, Bria Seamer. Windward again. Oh, set was a little, led Trotter just a little too much on that one. It's all about the set when it comes to successful spiking. Kill shots, as it were. All right, there's Seamer. Nice serve by her to the back row. Here comes Trotter again. And again, it was a little bit ahead of her. She might have been out of position. Came up fast and tried to drop shot it. There was some space there, but she was rushing to get to that ball, which prevented her from doing more with it. There's Alexander. Oh, beautiful bump there by number 14, I believe that was number 4 for the Hawks, Anna Doolittle, but it went wide, so that means point for the Park. Nursing a 2-point lead here, and here's the freshman Alexander with the jump serve, and that sails long. Those jump serves, they can be problematic keeping them in. That gives the point and the ball to Chaska as we near the end of game 1. Serve there by Rambolt for Chaska, and there's Howell. Her kill shot is blocked at the net, and there's a kill shot, and it's fought by the net, and nice job by Howell. And she outfought Michaela Rambolt at the net. Watch the effort here. First bang, down, then right back up there. That takes incredible effort by Howell just to get right back up there. Nice job by her. That is not as easy as it looked. Big spike. Oh, what a get by McIntosh. My goodness, she got low for that. There's Lindgren, Ostad, Trotter's gonna get a good one there. And it sets up Windward at the net. What beautiful form, and it's 21-18. You can see that set to Trotter was right on top of her, and look what she did with it that led to that. Nice job by both those young women. It's 21-18. They're gonna have a chance here with Trotter again. Another nice set, but she just goes wide. Boy, she just missed on that, but she is warmed up here from early on in game one. Watch the set, it's right where it needs to be. She just missed it. I think she maybe tried to go for too much. Maybe just take a little bit off of it, but the adrenaline is pumping, I'm sure, here late in game one. There's Windward, and point goes to the Hawks. I believe that was a net violation, so 21-19. St. Louis Park is 4 points from victory. There's the serve. Trouble. Boy, it wasn't a great serve, but it was in a good location, so I guess that makes it a great serve. Kind of faked out the Orioles, I think. So now it's tied at 21. Serving is Emma Nicholas for Chaska, and there's a drop shot. Chaska saves it. They get it back over by Schindler. There's Windward, gets it back over, and nice block at the net to allow Lindgren to save it. And here comes Windward with a beautiful spike. Wow. Michaela Windward, only 5'7", but watch her get, watch that right there. Look at that. Beautifully done. 22-21. Look out. Oh, bad set, and the Orioles capitalize it. The set sailed over the net, and they were ready for it. Good hustle by the Orioles. There they were, the fence. Windward with another second consecutive point. She really is someone to watch on this team. And we have a timeout taken. I'm assuming it's by the Hawks since they are down 2, and the Orioles are 2 points from a game 1 victory in this conference match. Coming up for the schedule for St. Louis Park, looking ahead after tonight's game, they have a home game a week from tonight, September 14th against Chanhassen. After that, their next home game is on Thursday, September 28th, hosting Bloomington Jefferson. Then on October 10th, they host Hopkins. So that is their home schedule now through October and the section playoffs. If you like volleyball, this is fun stuff. Last night and tonight's game is really good. Encourage people to come down and watch them. They're very, very good, very entertaining volleyball. And there's Trotter with the serve, and boy, that's an awesome serve. There was a lot of pace. There was top spin heat on it, as I like to call it. And the bump attempt by number 6, Olsen, could not handle it, and now it is game point. And Ella Trotter is gonna do the jump serve. Watch her get that ball up there, and that is a heck of a serve. She's using it much better than the other night, and there's a block. Nice job, and Orioles are gonna have a chance to win it right here. Windward, and she did find a way. Oh no, that was Ostad, Windward. It looked like it was Windward. I think it was Windward. What a performance by her late in the game. She got 3 out of the final 4 points to seal the victory for the Orioles as they change sides and come back for game 2.
Introducing a breakthrough in time management technology. A whole new day of the week. It's called Someday. Ingenious. Perhaps someday you are going to go skydiving. Enter a hot dog eating contest. Maybe ride a mechanical bull. Now, it's on the calendar. You may want to retire someday. Ready for that? You'll really want this. A My Social Security account at socialsecurity.gov. You can estimate your future benefits, plan for your retirement, and how to save for it. If you already receive benefits, you can manage them online. Millions of people already have a My Social Security account. In fact, someone opens one about every 6 seconds. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
Back to ParkTV 16 Sports broadcast of girls volleyball. We're about to begin game 2 of this best-of-5 series. St. Louis Park won an exciting come-from-behind match in game 1 to edge Chaska 25-21. So we're about to begin game 2. Chaska will be on our right. You can see them there. St. Louis Park on our left. And the starting 6 for the Orioles remain the same as it does for the Hawks. So serving is number 12, and right away a whistle. Not sure what the point of that was. I don't see any points awarded, but they'll start it again with number 12, the captain, Dana Schindler, 6'1" senior for the Hawks, starts it off. There's Howell. Big spike there by Mallory Heyer. Just an 8th grader, 6 feet tall. And there's Kim Lindgren with a big spike. Wow, that was incredible action. Look at Breyer Zimmer. Wow, dug deep to get that, but there was a lot of pace by Lindgren, and now she'll serve up 1-0. Hopefully there won't be any letdown for the St. Louis Park Orioles. Big spike. That may have sailed long. It looked like it could have been sailing long. Number 6 with the lefty. Yeah, it could have gone in, so McIntosh tried to save it. That was Siri Olsen, number 6, with the left-handed spike there to even the score at 1. Serving is Anna Doolittle for Chaska, and we have a net violation on the front row of the Park Orioles, so 2-1. And still serving is Anna Doolittle, 5'9" sophomore for the Hawks. There she is. And that's Rachel Alexander. Her kill shot is blocked back. And a drop shot from the back row by Lindgren causes Chaska trouble. And there is a beautiful block by Trotter on number 12. Watch this action by number 2 for the Orioles. Right. Bang. Sorry. She ended that spike in a hurry. Alexander with a nice, or Howell there with a nice spike. And Trotter comes up big from the left side there. Her spike got blocked, but had enough pace on it to get down. So now it is 2-3. Park down by 1, and they will now serve. And that's number 14, Rachel Alexander. Or Reagan Alexander, excuse me. So now the score is 2-4. Chaska will be serving. That is the libero, number 15, Breyer Zimmer. And here comes Trotter. What a set there, and that ball is called. What is the call? Well, it's clearly out from the replay, so I guess we know what the call is. So Zimmer will serve, up 5-2 early here, much as they were in game 1. Howell with the spike, Zimmer with the save. There's Windward to Trotter. Doolittle saves it for the Hawks. There's 6. Olsen, she puts it over. Lindgren saves it in the back row. There's Windward to Trotter and a big spike, and that was a thing of beauty right there. Bump, set, kill shot. Lindgren to Windward to Trotter. Here it is, bang, what a nice bump. And what a perfect set. Bang, just on the forehead there of Trotter. She knew what to do with it. Okay, now serving is number 7, Julia Ostad, the 5'5" senior. Gets the ball in. There's Siri Olsen, and her spike for the Hawks goes wide right. So 5-4, and number 7, Ostad to serve, and that ball just sails long, not by much, maybe 6 inches. So that means point and side out to the Hawks. And that is number 6, Siri Olsen, a captain, 5'10" senior. Gets the ball in on the serve. Here comes Trotter. Zemer saves it. Drop shot there by the Hawks, number 8, Bailey Harms that was. And we got a whistle. And side out remains with Chaska as they've opened up a 3-point lead here, 7-4. Siri Olsen, oh, a little strong on that serve. So point and side out to the Hawks. And that's Ella Trotter, 5'9" senior, jump serves, and that sails long. She was getting them in game 1, but her first attempt at a jump serve in game 2 sails long. So they give the ball and a point right back to the Hawks. And in now is Emma Nicholas, junior, 5'10" setter. Seems to be just substituting in when it's a chance for her to serve. And that's a nice shot by the Orioles. What, can the Hawks save it? I don't think so. So point and side out go to the Orioles. So early on here, neither team getting a huge momentum. Been trading serves back and forth after just 1 or 2 attempts. And now Maddie McIntosh, number 6, will serve. Oh, nice block at the net by the Orioles. Reagan Alexander, number 14, was there. Number 15, Windward. And there's McIntosh to serve again. And we got a whistle. And point to St. Louis Park on a technical violation. So McIntosh has tied it up here, 8 apiece. And she serves for her 3rd consecutive point. And Schindler's spike is called long. That was also very close. Here she is, 6'1", lets it fly, and yeah, it was just long. Good call by the back judge. So McIntosh now with a 9-8 lead, going for her 4th consecutive point here in game 2. Big spike, saved by Ostad. McIntosh to Trotter, sends it wide left. Just left of the sideline there. There was some confusion there between Windward and McIntosh as to who was gonna set it. So 9 apiece, and serving is number 8 for the Hawks. That's Bailey Harms. Big spike and a block, but who's there again? Michaela Windward and Reagan Alexander. Let's see who actually got it. Windward got it. My goodness. She can really, really jump. Excellent volleyball player. Okay, now she'll serve. And she has the jump serve and gets it over to the back row. Nicely done. And big spike from the back row is Siri Olsen, number 6. That was a big-time shot by her. Watch this. I'm always impressed when you can score a spike from that far from the net. That takes some skill. Oh, nice save there by McIntosh, but just not good enough. Excellent serve there by number 12 for the Hawks, Dana Schindler. Here she is, 6'1", senior, and she puts it in the exact same spot. Good strategy. If they couldn't stop it the first time, might as well go back to it until they do. Smart move on her point. And she'll go again for 3. She looks determined. And this time it goes back to Lindgren. They're having trouble handling her serves. Nice job there by McIntosh getting into the second row. Trouble for the Hawks. McIntosh, windward. Good things happen when she touches it. And the spike does not make it over the net, but that was a good set. Reagan Alexander, she'll get better at this as she gets more experience, but just not quite timed right. I almost think that set could even be higher for her because she's so tall. Howell tries to kill it, and the Hawks save it at the net. And now they've opened up a midway point 14-10 lead, game 2, and the captain, Dana Schindler, has been reeling off some points here, and now timeout, St. Louis Park Orioles. There's their upcoming schedule. Tonight is September 7th, so they're playing the Hawks here, of course. Then they go out west to Chanhassen. Or no, they host Chanhassen here a week from today. Then they go on the road to Robbinsdale Cooper, just up Highway 100. Then on the 28th, there's like a 9-day break there, and they host the Jaguars of Bloomington Jefferson. Then they finish, or they go into early October at Edina and at Richfield on October's 3rd and 5th. So the Hawks come out of the break early. I can see why. There was not a lot for them to talk about. Things are going well for them with their captain, Dana Schindler, serving for, I think, her 5th point in a row here. There's Windward, and she goes to Lindgren this time. He's been quiet of late, and her spike sails wide left. Just missed it. Schindler was up there to cover it, however, and now her serve this time goes into the net, and that stops the momentum. So down 4, number 4, Kim Lindgren will try to get the Orioles back in the match, or back in this game. They're up 1-0 in the match. Big spike there and another big block at the net. Nice job by the Orioles. They have been blocking, and that is number 16, Hannah Howell. Wow, nice job by her and Reagan Alexander. Let's see who got this. Yeah, Howell, bang. No thank you, see you later. So Lindgren will serve for her 2nd consecutive point. She uses the jump serve, gets it in, nice job. Here's Siri Olsen, she tries to drop shot it. McIntosh to Trotter, tries to place it. Big spike. I think that was number 7. It was. Boy, she really did a nice job with that. Perfect. Mallory Heyer. 6 foot, 8th grader. That woman that just sat down, nice job by her. She comes in and boy, nice form. Good talent on the floor from both sides here, even match. So now the Hawks extend their lead to 5, 17-12. Hawks have not won this year. I'm sure they're looking for a victory tonight. They are not going to go away quietly. That's Doolittle serving for Chaska. And, oh, Lindgren, I don't know if she saw it or maybe her footwork got a little tied up. She was on her heels, to say the least, and just quite didn't handle that. So now Chaska is up 19-12, and they are smelling victory just 6 points away. Doolittle to serve again, number 4 for the Hawks. Windward, nice bump to Trotter, puts everything on it. Nice save by the Hawks, Doolittle, and they get the spike, and now they are on a roll, up 8 in game 2. Look at that. I think that was Olsen, number 6. Puts it away. Hawks now 5 points from game 2. And Doolittle, number 4, has been serving well here late. Orioles need a break. And they give up the 21st point. And now a timeout by the Orioles. Their coach, Whitney Mariotto-Simon, not ready to throw in the towel here on game 2. They're 13 points from 25. They got to make up 13 and prevent the Hawks from getting 4. It's a tall order. Not impossible. We'll see if this timeout will have any impact on the result. Out come the Hawks early. All right, back to the game here. Closing moments of game 2 of this best of 5. That's number 4, Anna Doolittle, trying to serve out the game. Windward to Trotter. Nice save there by number 5 for the Hawks. And that's an illegal hit by number 12, Dana Schindler. So the timeout works, at least temporarily. It stopped the scoring machine of Doolittle. So now with side out and a point in favor of the Orioles, that's number 14, Reagan Alexander with the jump serve. And she does well with it, trying to save it. Smile there by number 12, Dana Schindler. She knew it was a lost cause. Well, it's easy to smile when you're up by 7 points here. So, but Reagan Alexander gonna try to mount a comeback, just gets it over the net. Nice job. And, oh my, unfortunate turn of events for the Orioles, as the Hawks had a hard time getting that ball back over the net, and then it was tipped by Windward, and that caused Lindgren to be out of position. Just unfortunate set of circumstances. So now serving 3 points from the game is Zemer for the Hawks. Trotter, look at that top spin heat on it. Really bends that ball like a soccer player on the spike. Oh, that's a set that I thought was going a little too far over the net, but Trotter, with her excellent body control, is able to get her hand on it and place it in the, watch that, and how does she stop from going in the net? That is something else. Nice job by her. So the Orioles are not going away easily, and this is number 7, Ostad, and the Hawks save it. Oh, and McIntosh just misplayed that. Boy, the Orioles had the advantage, and now they've given up another point and possession here. Hawks just 2 points from game 2. Siri Olsen, the lefty, serving for the Hawks. Windward tries to drop it in there. Big spike there. I think that was number 4 for the Hawks, Doolittle. Nevertheless, serving will be Siri Olsen. Game point for game 2. It's McIntosh, Ostad to Trotter. And Trotter staves off game point number 1, and she'll get to serve. They need 9 points here in a row. Big serve. Trouble for the Hawks, and they just barely save it there. Number 5, Michaela Rambold, and we got a violation on the Orioles. And that means the 25th point in game 2 goes to the Chaska Hawks. Come back for game 3.
You're always trying to keep your kids safe, right? What about preventing concussion? Concussion can happen anywhere, on a sports field, at the park, even at home. So you need to know the ABCs. Assess the situation, be alert for signs and symptoms, and contact a healthcare professional. Most kids recover completely, but seek care to help them get better faster. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. Keep kids safe. It's as simple as ABC.
Back to St. Louis Park High School. I'm Robert Christensen. We're bringing you ParkTV 16 sports production of girls high school volleyball. And right now we're about to begin game 3 of this conference match between the Chaska Hawks and the St. Louis Park Orioles. The Orioles came back in game 1 to win game 1, but then they gave up game 2 on a strong performance by the Hawks. So we're about to begin game 3. And the Orioles will be on our right. Both teams are in black, so it's really difficult to tell who's who, but the Orioles are on the right. They have a little bit of orange on their sleeves. And the Hawks, they don't have any designs on their sleeves, so that's one way to tell the difference. So we're gonna go for the third game here, and the Orioles will start off serving with their talented star, Michaela Windward, number 15. We'll start it off for game 3. Jump serve. Olsen with the drop, number 6, the senior for the Hawks, gets them off to a good start here, picking up right where they left off, really going away with it in game 2. So we'll see if the Orioles come up with any type of strategy to try to thwart that. So serving is number 4, Anna Doolittle, sophomore, 5'9", had a nice service game in game 2 to help the Hawks win that one. And the Orioles answer back. Nice play there. So 1 apiece, and side out will go to Kim Lindgren of the St. Louis Park Orioles. See if the senior can rattle off of several points in a row here. And there she starts out. Nice serve right at the feet of number 15, Briar Zemer. So Lindgren off to a good start at the service line to begin game 3, up 2-1. Second serve is good. Drop shot, saved by Windward. And there's Ella Trotter. Spike goes to the back row, saved by Doolittle, and number 5 for the Hawks, Michaela Rambold, misplays that spike. Just the set never really got high enough. She wasn't in a great position, and the grimace on her face reflected that. Just wasn't set up real well. So that means point number 3 for St. Louis Park. So they're off to a very early good start here in game 3. And Lindgren going for her 3rd consecutive point. And this time it goes into the net. So that gives a point and side out to the Hawks, and gives way to Briar Zemer. 9th grader, 5'6". Been in the match the whole game, and her serve is handled by Trotter, and she attempts a spike from a mid-row, and that sails wide, as they often do, and so the score is tied, and Zemer will begin her 2nd service of game 3. Windward and Trotter. Oh, tempts Zemer into saving that. I'm quite certain that ball was going long, and Zemer was hinching up, and you can see she went back, and that ball clearly would have sailed long. So a break for the Orioles, and that brings up Reagan Alexander. There she is, number 14 with the jump serve. Doolittle in the middle to Olsen. Nice bump there by Lindgren. And she saves it again, gets it over the net. What a nice job handling that. And there's Lindgren again, this time to Windward. Good things happen when she sets people up. And nice save by Howell there. Olsen saves it for the Hawks. There's Windward with the set, no one home. Schindler with the set for number 8, Bailey Harms, the senior 6-footer. Comes right over and lets it fly, and it goes off the fingertips of the front line for the Orioles. 4 apiece. Olsen to serve, the lefty. for the Hawks. Here comes Trotter. Nice set. Nice dig by Olsen for the Hawks, saving that. Boy, that was magnificent. Then she got right up and tried to spike it from the back row, and it sailed wide right. 5-4 Orioles, game 3. Boy, look at that dig there. That was a beautiful replay. Nice effort. Really good volleyball players in this match. Ziemers with the save, and the big spike by number 5. Michaela Ramble goes into the net, and that means a 6th point. And Julia Ostad to serve, number 7. There she is, and she also employs the jump serve. Ziemer bumps it to Doolittle, and that's number 8, bumps it over Harms. And here comes Windward, and she puts a nice spike on it, and a nice save by Trotter at the net. And she gives it to Ostad, and now to Windward, and she drop shots it right in there. What touch that was. She is fun to watch. Just a great volleyball sense. Watch her come up and fake the spike and just drop it right in there. That takes some talent there. Nice job. St. Louis Park has 7 now to Hawks 4, and Windward lets a spike fly there. It's saved by the Hawks. Doolittle, and that's gonna sail long for the 8th point for the Orioles. And they are on a roll with Julia Ostad serving. There she is, jump serve. That's in, Ziemers handles it. Doolittle, or no, excuse me, Schindler, and the spike from the middle row, and that is going to be a timeout for the Hawks. They look a little discombobulated as they've allowed the Park Orioles to establish a 9-4 lead here in game 2, so game 3, so a 1-minute timeout for the Hawks. They don't look quite as organized as they did in game 2, so the ebb and flow for both teams is interesting to watch. So there's the Chaska schedule on the screen. And following this game, they also don't play for a week, and they will host Richfield down in the River Valley. Then they'll come out of the River Valley and play at Chanhassen 5 days later. Then a few days after that, they host Champlin Park on September 21st, and then they host the St. Louis Park Cross Highway 100 rivals. Benilde St. Margaret Red Knights will go to Chaska to play them on the 28th. So the conference schedule is underway here in this 2017 season. Out of the timeout, Park has the same players in there, and that is Julia Ostad serving, and she gets the jump serve in again. And there is the set for Harms, number 8. Nice bump. There's Ostad to Trotter, and she puts it inside the line. That was gorgeous. From the left side, watch that. Tipped McIntosh, nice job. Ostad, Trotter, see ya, right inside the line. She is on her game now here in game 3. Harms sends it wide. It's now 11-4 here, game 3. St. Louis Park bouncing back after a mediocre performance in game 2. And now we have a substitution in for the Hawks. That is number 10. Danae Rothmeyer, a senior, 5'11". So service by Ostad. She's got to be on her 7th or 8th consecutive now. Lindgren, McIntosh, Trotter lets it fly, and a nice block at the net. I couldn't tell, it was either number 12, Schindler, or number 10, Rothmeyer, and I think it might have been both of them. Rothmeyer being the substitute comes in and pays dividends for Coach Sue Murphy. So now it is 11-5, excuse me. Nice by McIntosh, and there's Windward, and she puts it away off of number 7's hands, Mallory Heyer. Windward coming up big again. Bang, 5'7", she really can jump, and what great form with that right-handed kill shot. So now Trotter, number 2, will serve. 12-5 game 3. This is a pivotal game in the best-of-5 series. And that ball sails wide by Siri Olsen, number 6. And the Hawks look a little tired, so they're ebbing here just a little bit here, just as the Orioles did in game 2. Trotter jump serves and big serve. Wow. Zemer there got down. Boy, she's been working really hard. The libero there, number 15 for the Hawks. She really got low. That was an awesome serve by Trotter, and she handled it. And that means a point and side out for the Hawks at 6. And Zemer serves, that's Trotter, and Windward finds it again. Unbelievable. She can do it all at the net. She's not the tallest one out there, but look at her jump and drop that in there. It's just amazing. So McIntosh will serve. Up 6, 14-8. Can they keep it going? Big spike there by number 7, Mallory Heyer. And Windward comes up again. My goodness, number 15, Michaela Windward. Bang, just keeps racking up the points. She has got the hot hand tonight. McIntosh serve, handled by Olsen to Schindler. And that is number 9 with the spike attempt, Hannah Thompson. The freshman, 5'9", and she comes in, and now she'll leave. As soon as they'll let her in, coming in for her is number 3, Coley Hennon, senior, 5'10", now in the match. McIntosh to serve again, and that goes to the back row. Tahana poke, and they finally stop the rash of points by the Orioles right here. Watch this spike by number 3, Coley Hennon. So Murphy, Coach Murphy substitutes very well there. Gets the spike, the point, and the side out. And now they have their second consecutive point. Still down 8 here. And serving will be Dana Schindler, the captain. Handled by Lindgren in the back row to Ostad, to Windward. Oh, the drop doesn't work, and this time the Hawks get the best of that one. Still a nice effort by Windward, I tell you what. And Doolittle to serve again. And she looks intent. She was very intense in game 2 and helped will that win. And Lindgren with the big serve, and this time coming up big on the defense is Mallory Heyer and Coley Hennon, the senior substitute. And here comes Schindler. And Windward lets one fly in. They are unable to save it. Nice shot by Windward. She gets that point as well, and now she'll serve. The Park Orioles are on a roll. They thwarted off the rally there by the Hawks, and now Windward is having an extraordinary game 3, will serve. And she gives the jump serve, and all that adrenaline almost sails it long, but number 2, Hannah Polk, the sophomore, 5'6" setter, can't handle it. And now a timeout wisely taken by Coach Murphy of the Hawks. So after a lackluster game 2, boy, the Park Orioles came out storming here in the all-important game 3. They lead by 8, and they just need 7. Meanwhile, the Hawks need 15 before the Orioles can get 7. So the Hawks are out early. There's number 12, the 6'1" senior co-captain, Dana Schindler. She's definitely the heart and soul of the Hawk team. And I would say the service by Windward, she is the heart and soul right there of the St. Louis Park Orioles. She can set it, she can spike it, she can block it, she can serve it. She's having a great all-around match tonight. All right, we're about to start. The timeout is over. Neither team, oh, we have a little discussion on the far side at the scorer's table. The far net judge is talking to the scorekeeper, and so we have there it is, a little bit of a delay. Not sure what the conversation is about. we do find out, we'll bring it to you. Can't imagine what the issue is. And this delay would only be hurting, I think, the St. Louis Park Orioles. So much of sports is momentum and rhythm, and this is really slowing them down extra much. So hopefully it's for something important if you're an Oriole fan. But meanwhile, this is an extended break here, I would say. Can't imagine what the issue is. Well, now the judge calls over Murphy, the coach for the Hawks. She comes over. And now the St. Louis Park head coach Wisely joins in to find out what all the trouble is. May concern a substitution procedure, perhaps. I know the Hawks were substituting quite a bit there in the last few moments before the timeout. They could be sorting out some sort of miscommunication. So Murphy walks away from the scores table. He's talking to her libero, Breyer Zemer. Now she goes back to the scores table. So clearly it has something to do with the Hawk team. St. Louis Park head coach seems unconcerned. So now Murphy heads back to her bench. And no moves, no explanation. Murphy and the judge still talking on the sideline. So maybe there was some sort of warning as Murphy talks to her team, and now we're about ready to begin here finally. 18-10, still serving is Michaela Windward, and her serve goes in, and Hawks have a hard time handling it. Schindler bumps it over. There's Windward with the set to Reagan Alexander, and that's a net violation. The ball, I think, hit the net after being hit by the Hawk player, so that is a nice point there for the Orioles, especially after coming an extended break there. Can really thwart the momentum. You see it happen more often than not here in volleyball. So Windward to serve again at 19-10. Well placed, and there's the big spike by Siri Olsen. Didn't get everything she wanted on it. Here's Lindgren, and her ball sails long. So point and side out to the Hawks, 19-11. And in comes number 4, Anna Doolittle, who had a very successful serving game in game 2, and see if she can get that hot hand back here late in game 3 as the Orioles are closing in. Reagan Alexander, and we got a net violation on her, so side out remains with Doolittle and the Hawks, and they are looking for a comeback here following that timeout at 19-12. That's McIntosh, Windward up there, and Reagan Alexander mistimes it. Windward, no, that was Lindgren that saved it. But not quite enough, so out comes the coach, Mariotto Simon, whispering instructions. It's a critical part of the game here. Doolittle going for her third consecutive point. There's Windward with the set. This time to Reagan Alexander, and this time she knows what to do with it. I like that they keep going back to her. She had 2 unsuccessful attempts, and look at that smile on her. Watch this. She really gets up high and places it well along the right sideline deep. And that yields a side out, and for Kim Lindgren to serve for the Orioles, number 4, jump serve. Doolittle gets it in the back row, and Siri Olsen decides to punt it across. Windward to Trotter, she lets it fly. Doolittle saves it barely. Olsen punts it back over to Lindgren. There's Windward, good things. Oh, the set was just a little ahead, but Reagan saved it. Nice job by her. Keeping it alive, Windward, McIntosh to Trotter. Nice job by Windward and McIntosh and Trotter there. Well-earned point and a huge point as they are now 4 from game 3 and a 2-1 lead in the match. Let's see if the experienced senior Kim Lindgren can close this out. Jump serve once again is in. Doolittle to Schindler to Hennon, number 3, 15. Windward, big spike. Sear. And we got a violation on the hit there. So that means side back out to the Hawks. 21-14 is our score. And that is number 15, Briar Zemer, serving for the Hawks. There's Windward, and the set for Trotter. Olsen with the big spike, and it was blocked or into the net by Reagan Alexander, and Ella Trotter were there on the defense. And that is the 22nd point for the Orioles. They're 3 from game 3, and the freshman, there she is, Reagan Alexander, will try to close it out here. Jump serve, and this time, Briar Zemer lets it go, and wisely, as they get the ball back and their 15th point, and their co-captain, Siri Olsen, number 6, serves it. Windward to Trotter, and she nails that thing, despite Anna Doolittle trying to save it. That was a heck of a spike and a dominating shot there by Trotter. So in comes Ostad, who had a great serving match, or game in game 2. She reeled off maybe 8 or 9 in a row to see if she can close it out. 2 points from game 3. Oh, they called a hit violation on the Orioles. Number 3, Rachel Lang, 5'8" senior. Just got a little bit underneath that. So that yields a service for the Hawks, and Emma Nicholas back in. The 5'10" junior will try to close the deficit for the Hawks. There's Ostad, and I think her shoulder bumped into the net as she was going for that set. So a little carelessness here late in game 3 by the Orioles. As the Hawks now inch ever closer. They're only down 5 now. Trotter, Ostad, Trotter, hit at the net. And Schindler gets it over. Ostad to Trotter, and she drops it and saved. And number 10 hits it over Rothmeyer. Here comes Windward, and her shot attempt is blocked at the net for the 18th point. And now we have a timeout, this time taken by the Orioles, as the Hawks have gotten back into game 3. Reeling off 4 or 5 points. Their deficit is still 5. They need to get 7 before the Hawks, or the Orioles, can get 2. So it still looks favorable for the St. Louis Park Orioles, but wise timeout taken by Whitney Mayerato Simon, the head coach of the Orioles. So the Hawks come back out, high-fiving. They are not giving up on this game 3. They are starting to feel the momentum, and they're going to try to catch the Orioles. And serving will be Emma Nicholas, who's reeled off a few points here in a row late in game 3, trying to get back into it. Her service goes to Trotter, to Ostad, to Trotter, and she puts in the back row, saved by Zemer. McIntosh with a nice save bump, and Trotter with the big spike, and it does its job as she handcuffs Schindler. And what a nice job following the timeout as Trotter gets the 24th point, and now she'll serve. First game point of game 3, her jump serve, deep, handled by Zemer. Ostad to McIntosh, Lindgren sails it long. So game point number 1 thwarted, and in comes number 3, Coley Hennon, the senior, 5'10", comes to the front line. Serving will be number 8, Bailey Harms. And her service is good, handled by Lindgren to Ostad, to Windward. And that just sails wide left. So now it's 24-20. Harms to serve again. Lindgren bumps the saves it, and Windward pooches it over. And there is a nice pass to number 7 for the Hawks, Mallory Heyer, whose vision finds the open part of the court, and now we have another timeout taken by the Orioles. They're just 1 point from the pivotal game 3. Crowd trying to exhort their team on. Not much, I think, the St. Louis Park head coach can say to her team. They're just 1 point from victory. It would be an amazing comeback if the Hawks could do it. Orioles got to dig in deep here. They cannot let this game get away. Mentally, it'd be real tough to come back, I think, if I were them. So they really need to buckle down here and get this point. There's the serve. Lindgren, Ostad, Lindgren. Coley Hennon finds the open shot. The nice substitution by Murphy, the head coach, as number 3, Coley Hennon, gets the spike. Harms with the serve, and that goes long, and that's the game. Goes to St. Louis Park on the serve that goes long, and they hold on to win game 3 and take a 2-1 lead, come back for the exciting game 4.
A life entertaining tourists is no life for a wild animal. Whether taken from the wild or bred in captivity, they are beaten and forced to endure cruel training. Animals need you to stand up for them. Help World Animal Protection stop their abuse and exploitation. Together, we can change the minds of tourists, the travel industry, and governments. Together, we can keep wild animals in the wild where they belong. Wild animals are not entertainers. Stand up for wildlife now. Visit standupforwildlife.org.
Back to St. Louis Park High School as we are about to begin game 4 of this best of 5 series between the St. Louis Park Oriole girls varsity volleyball team taking on the visiting Chaska Hawks. It is a 2-1 lead, as you can see from those scores on your screen. The St. Louis Park Orioles won game 1, then in a lackluster performance lost game 2, and then held on to win game 3 against a surging Hawk team. So this is a best of 5, and so the Hawks, in order to stay in the match, must win this game. And of course, if the Orioles win this game, they will take the match and move their 3-2 record to 4-2 and 1-0 in the conference. This is the first conference match for either team. They're both in the West Metro, so very, very competitive, exciting volleyball. I expect more of the same here in game 4. The Hawks will be on the right, and serving for the Hawks is Dana Schindler, the captain. Starts it off. Reagan Alexander starts it off nicely with a set from Windward. And the first point, and they take the side out. So nice start by the Orioles following that strong performance in game 3. I'm sure they'd like to close this out in 4. Speaking of 4, that is Kim Lindgren with the jump serve. It's Schindler, and that is a heck of a set and spike to Mallory Heyer. Just an 8th grader. Watch that form. Boom. Just eludes Trotter there. So now number 4, Anna Doolittle, will answer and serve for the Hawks. Nice flat serve over the net. There's Windward to Trotter, and she is off the mark. So I do think there's a tendency to relax when you win one of these games. Keeping up the intensity, it's not always easy. And Doolittle will serve another nice flat serve. McIntosh handles it, and there is the set for Howell, number 16, and it is saved by the Hawks. And that's number 3, Coley Hennon. She remains in the game, a late substitution in game 3. But the Orioles get that point. And Reagan Alexander will serve. Yep, nice placement there, just eludes Briar Zemer, who's just a 9th grader herself for the Hawks, and she is a big part of their success. She digs out a lot of balls on the floor. There is Trotter. Oh, and I think we have a net violation on the set. I don't know if that was Windward or Ostad. I think her shoulder just grazed it. So the 9th grader there, Briar Zemer, will serve. Windward to Trotter, and she lets it fly, but there to meet her is the double team by Bailey Harms, number 8, and Michaela Rambolt, number 5, to thwart Trotter's second attempt. And you know, that was a great set, great spike, and a great defense. But the Orioles win it right back. And out comes Howell, and in comes number 7, Ostad, for the Orioles, and she will serve in place of Howell. Schindler, nice, beautiful short set there to number 5, Michaela Rambolt. She didn't put it super high, that was strategic. Caught the Orioles a little off guard in their jump. Bang, just a little, they just let it go just before they could get up there. Oh my, that was set up. Unfortunately, the bump save got a little ahead, and it was basically a setup for the Hawks. So they open up a 6-3 lead, and there's Siri Olsen, number 6. Captain for the Hawks serving. Ostad sets it for Trotter, and this time on her 3rd spike attempt, she finds Paydirt and gets her first point of game 4, and she'll get the serve. That's a nice combination. You get the kill shot, and then you go to serve right after that, keep the momentum going. And there's her jump serve, and it's starting to fail her. I would recommend that she stop doing the jump serve in game 4. Clearly, these girls are going to be getting tired. And that jump serve takes a lot of energy, and if it means her hitting a lot of serves out of bounds, it's simply not going to be worth it. Okay, now the Hawks will serve. That's number 1, Emma Nicholas. Gets it in, and here comes Lindgren. Big spike, blocked at the net. Nicholas. Schindler pooches it over. There's Ostad to Windward. Saved by Zemer. Big spike off the ceiling. McIntosh saves it, and it goes to the Hawks as the Orioles are unable to save it, and now they find themselves down 4 here quickly in game 4, 8-4. Serving is Emma Nicholas. Lindgren with the bump. Trotter from the back row lets it fly and finds the paint just inside the right sideline, the left sideline of the Hawks, and whoa, what a big shot, and not at a better time for the Orioles. Look at that, just gets in there right in the corner. McIntosh to serve, down 3, game 4. There's the pooch, saved by Trotter. Nicholas, Zemer, and Schindler hits it, and it goes off the side of her hand and goes wide left of the sideline, and now it is 8-6. McIntosh to serve again. Nice flat serve. Nicholas gives it up to Schindler, and it goes just wide, but not by much. The 6'1" senior co-captain let it fly, but just missed. Watch. Oh, that was Trotter's. Yep, that went back the shot before. Don't mind seeing that. That was a great shot by Trotter. And now it's led to McIntosh's 3rd serve in a row, and this time Schindler finds it. She shakes her head. Yep, she's found her range now. Bang, look at that. Big time power just outside the stretched arms of Maddie McIntosh. So now 9-7, and the Hawks serve. Mallory Heyer on the serve, and the ball gets hung up on that I-beam that hangs just over the net. And that plays to the favor of the Orioles, who have now cut the lead to just 1. They were down 4, and now that is Michaela Windward having a great night here. Let's see if it continues in game 4 at the service line. She also does the jump serve, even though it's late in the match. Gets it in, and Schindler this time sends her 3rd spike attempt in a row long, clearly long. So now it's tied, 9 apiece, game 4. Windward to serve. Zemer, Heyer, Trotter, Windward, and Reagan Alexander puts a nice spike on that, but they save it. And a nice block by Alexander. She comes right back. The freshman number 14. Look at that smile, and she deserves that smile. Watch the effort she puts forth here. First on the spike, bang, saved, and then she stays right there and jumps and blocks it to get the point. Nice effort. Windward with another jump serve, going for her 3rd in a row. Big spike there by Mallory Heyer, number 7, from the left side. Gets the ball back and the point. Tied 10-all, game 4. So now Dana Schindler will serve. Trotter, oh, a little confusion between her and McIntosh. Causes them to give up a point there. Communication issue in the back row. So now Schindler going for her 2nd consecutive point. Leads 11-10. This time McIntosh handles it to Windward, and a miscommunication this time between Windward and Reagan Alexander. So fatigue is setting in for both teams, I believe. It can affect in a variety of ways. They've been going at it for an hour and a half solid in a warm gym here in this early September night. And this time, the Park Orioles wake up and get that one across, and they should have their 11th point. And side out to them, so just down 1. Oh, my mistake. I thought the Orioles won that point, but they did not. So that means Dana Schindler is now on a roll, 13-10. Lindgren with the nice spike, and she, oh my goodness, Schindler, how they saved that ball. Schindler and Heyer, number 7, found it. Schindler dives again, and they save it again, but it goes wide. Wow, what an effort there by the Hawks to no avail. There's the ball that sails just wide, and that means Kim Lindgren, number 4, will serve that woman right there. She'll do the jump serve. Gets it in. There's Schindler to Siri Olsen, and the block almost work. I think that was Hannah Howell there, the 5'10 freshman. Nice job blocking it, and the ball came back on her side, and she couldn't quite save it. So now we go over to number 4, Anna Doolittle for the Hawks. Up 14-11. Hawks need to win this game to stay in the match. Trotter brings the big spike kill shot, and it sails long. So it's important that Trotter remain accurate now here. She has a tendency to sail these long. She really needs to be accurate on her spikes. They want to salvage game 4, and this is an awkward spike shot. She was off balance by Reagan Alexander, and so now that is the 18th point, or no, the 16th point for the Hawks. So just a 5-point lead, and wisely, Whitney Mariotto Simon, head coach for the Orioles, takes a 1-minute timeout. We're in a pivotal part here of game 4. There you can see how you can subscribe to all our broadcasts on YouTube. We're constantly streaming events. And both St. Louis Park and Benilde St. Margaret's provide great high school sports action. So far this year, this is a second exciting volleyball game, and we had an exciting football game the other night. The Red Knights hosting the Waconia football team. And so now we're back here, game 4, 16-11. Anna Doolittle to serve for the Hawks. There's Windward, and the drop shot is saved by the 6'1" Schindler. Amazing, how did she get that? Here comes Trotter, and this time she finds Bader, and she keeps that ball inbounds, as she must do. And that's a point inside out for the Orioles. Nice job there by Trotter, following the timeout. Clearly the coaching has worked. So Reagan Alexander takes a spot on the bench and gives way to number 8, Addie Warg. Sophomore, 5'6", comes in to serve. Alexander maybe showing a little signs of fatigue, so nice job on the substitution. Trotter's spike is blocked at the net, and the spike attempt by number 5, Michaela Rambold, gets through the defense right there at the net. It actually hit the net and sent the timing off on defense. So now Alexander takes a seat along with Ward. And in is there number 3, Rachel Lang, who played extensively the other night against Irondale and played well. So the spike attempt by the Hawks goes long. Or does it? I think it did go, maybe touched. Yep, it looked like it was tipped. I did see it at the last second. So that means the Hawks have an 18-12 lead. And Breyer Zemer gets the service over. There's Windward to Trotter, and she keeps the ball in bounds. There's Schindler to Mallory Heyer, and her spike attempt, it was off balance just a little bit behind her, which caused it to sail long. Excuse me, that was Bailey Harms. So it's 18-13, and in comes to serve is Julia Ostad, and as we saw tonight and also the other night against Irondale, she had a couple nice service stretches, but this time the Hawks thwart it, nip it in the bud right away to get their 19th point here in game 4. They are now 6 points from evening the matchup at 2-all. And Siri Olsen, their left-handed co-captain, to serve. McIntosh with the bump, and the Lang tries to drop shot it over. Olsen takes the spike, saved by Lindgren, to Ostad, to Trotter, and she gets it down, inbounds, saved by the Hawks. And it hits the I-beam, unfortunately, for Lindgren, and now that's the 20th point for the Hawks as they've opened up a commanding 7-point lead here in game 4. There she is, Siri Olsen, going for her 3rd, or I think maybe 4th consecutive point here. Orioles need to come up big here and big quick. And Windward, boy, gets the serve, and she is met at the net by number 8, Bailey Harms, with the block and the point. 4 points from victory in game 4 are the Hawks. Siri Olsen to serve. Ostad set, mistimed. And here come the Hawks, and a big spike there by number 5. Rambold saved. Trotter with the big save by Zemer. And we got a violation, I believe, on Schindler. An illegal hit. And that gives the ball over to Trotter. Down 7. Trotter with the bump. Ostad to Lindgren, and the Hawks are unable to save it, or do they? I thought that was a 4th hit. Windward gets it over, and the big, nice spike there by the Hawks, number 5, Michaela Rambold. She actually looked like she decided to hit it on her jump on the way down, which sent the time. Yeah, she did hit it on the way down, which actually caused that ball to go in. I don't know if that was intentional, but it worked. So here comes number 1, Emma Nicholas, trying to close it out. Just 3 points from the victory. And at the net, number 7 dops it over Mallory Heyer. So it looks like the Hawks are going to cruise to the victory in game 4, just 2 points away. Nicholas and Windward. Saved by Nicholas and over. And Lindgren lets it fly, saved by Ziemers. And there is a violation called by the far judge. I think he's calling a net violation, and so that means Maddie McIntosh will serve. Big spike by Schindler, blocked by the Orioles. McIntosh now has it. Lindgren lets it fly to the back row to Olsen. Nicholas. McIntosh. Windward. Ziemers. Saved by Schindler. Lindgren with the spike. Saved by Olsen and into the net for a hard-earned point for the Orioles and Maddie McIntosh. Wow, what a sequence that was. St. Louis Park still facing a uphill battle here, but they will try to chip away. McIntosh with a nice serve. And boy, that's nothing like that to put the wind back in their sails after working so hard for the prior point. That is a big time, nice present there by Maddie McIntosh as they inch ever closer, just 5 back. Or 6, I should say. And Schindler is blocked by number 15, Michaela Windward. Comes up big. It looked like her. I was screened a little bit. Oh yeah, look at that. The 5'7" skies to the block and draws the game ever closer. 23-18, timeout for the Hawks. They still have an incredible advantage to win game 4. St. Louis Park is going to have to continue to play really a perfect match down the stretch here in game 4 if they want to salvage it. But so far, so good. They were down 23-15. They've reeled off 3 in a row here. So the Hawks called timeout if for no other reason than to try to stop the momentum. And Maddie McIntosh, number 6, at the left of your screen, will try to continue it here. They still need a bunch of points. And the service goes in, handled by Ziemers. Nicholas, the set was not very good. Intended for number 7, Mallory Heyer, but she makes a mountain out of a molehill there and scores the point, and that brings up game point for the Hawks. Serving. Harms. Lindgren to stay in the game. Her spike falls blocked and falls over the net, and that means game 4 goes to the Chaska Hawks, and they even it up at 2. So come back after the break for the deciding game 5 in this exciting conference match.
I'm Sandra Fry. I'm a union bus driver, and I'm also a mom. During 17 years with Greyhound, I've covered over 2 million miles. My job is to safely bring families together. I love the open road, but I never forget that a drowsy or careless driver could be right around the next curve. Drunk driving is the deadliest of all. As a mom and as a bus driver, I have a message for you. If you drink, don't drive.
Welcome back to St. Louis Park High School and ParkTV 16 sports presentation of girls high school volleyball. We're about to begin game 5. You can look at our scoreboard there. It's tied all 2 apiece between the Chaska Hawks, which are on our left, and the home team, St. Louis Park Orioles. Both teams have traded victories, alternating. The Park Orioles won game 1, then looked rather sluggish in game 2 and lost it, then came back and decisively won game 3, then looked a little tired in game 4, and so now here we are for the deciding and exciting game 5. Chaska will start off serving, and that's their captain. In the right there, number 12, Dana Schindler. She is intense. She's 6'1", senior co-captain. Started off. McIntosh in the back row, gives it up to Windward. Big spike by Lindgren, saved by the Hawks. Oh, ball saved by Trotter in the back row. Windward to Trotter from the second row, saved by the Hawks. McIntosh. Reagan Alexander tries to spike it, saved by Schindler. Siri Olsen to Trotter. Well played first point. Both teams are concentrating in. The set is a little misplaced there, so point 1 goes to the Hawks on the miscue by the Orioles. But that's just point 1, so Schindler to serve a second time here in the deciding game 5. There's Windward to Kim Lindgren, and she lets it fly, blocked partially at the net. Siri Olsen comes back, saved by Maddie McIntosh. Lindgren sends it to the second row of the Hawks. There's Schindler. And the pooch hit by Mallory Hire, number 7, eludes Trotter in the back right corner. Not sure if it was going out of bounds, but nice, kind of off-timed. And yeah, that ball could have gone in. So nice attempt there by Trotter. And down 2-0, Schindler to serve for the 3rd consecutive point of game 3. And that ball from the way back row by number 5, Michaela Rambold. Boy, impressive shot, just eludes McIntosh inside the back line. And the Hawks are off to a strong start on the hand of that woman there, Dana Schindler. And just as I say that, she comes up a little tired and gives up the serve and the point. So now it's 3-1 and Kim Lindgren to serve. 5'7" senior. Jump serve in. Rambolt, number 5, over there to Siri Olsen. McIntosh saves it off the ceiling, and Windward saves it. In comes number 3, Coley Hennon, almost gets away from the Hawks. And here comes Reagan Alexander. The pooch doesn't fool anybody. Another pooch by the Hawks. There's Windward to Trotter, and she lets it fly right off, almost off the noggin there of Siri Olsen. She had to put her hands up in a defensive move. And it's nice to see Trotter in control on those spikes early on here in game 4. Poor Siri Olsen, there's nothing she could do. If you're an Oriole fan, that's a good sign that Trotter is getting those balls inside the lines. So 3-2 down, Kim Lindgren with her second serve. Trouble for the Hawks as they pooch it over. That's Schindler. There's Windward. This time to Reagan Alexander, and she does not jump off the right foot, plus that set was just a little bit behind her. So the timing between Windward and Reagan Alexander has suffered here in game 4. I don't know if Reagan Alexander, she's just a freshman, probably hasn't played in a lot of 5-game matches. Fatigue is an issue. So Anna Doolittle serves it for the Hawks, up 4-2. And Trotter puts another spike in between the lines. This time she almost takes the head off Dana Schindler. And boy, that's 2 nice spikes for Trotter. They're gonna need her to continue that throughout game 5 if they're gonna win. So she gets the point in the side out, and that is number 8 for the Hawks. Addie Ward, the 5'6" sophomore, came in late in game 4, and she's back out in game 5. And she sends a serve to the back row. And Siri Olsen pooches it over and finds some room right in front of Addie Ward. So nice serve by her, but unable to recognize that shot from the back row by Siri Olsen. When the Hawks were just trying to pooch the ball over. So nice job by the senior Siri Olsen to get that point and the ball. So here comes Trotter, and that's her third spike in a row, and she is dialed in. 3 in a row inside the lines. She is definitely focused. Look at that. Right in between the lines. Nothing Breer Zemer could do for the Hawks. So that means Julia Ostad to serve, and boy, the Orioles need her to get hot again serving. Schindler gives it up to Siri Olsen, and it's blocked by Trotter. That's her 4th point of game 5, which is 4 of the 5 they've got. 3 on spikes and that on a block. She is coming up huge. Look at that. Julia Ostad for her 2nd serve in a row here, tied at 5, and that time it goes to Olsen, and Trotter lets it fly, couldn't get everything on it. Goes to the back row, Lindgren, and some confusion nicely placed by the Hawks. Boy, we're watching 2 experienced teams go at it here in this conference matchup in the Metro West. 6-5, game 5. Siri Olsen to serve. Trotter with the bump, Ostad to windward, and she spikes it, saved by Olsen. Ramble, back to Olsen, saved by Lindgren, barely. Trotter pooches it over. And the setup for Ramble. Ostad to Maddie McIntosh, to Trotter, and she gets it down. That's 4 in a row on the spikes, and her 5th point of game 5 to tie it up at 6, and now she'll serve, and that brings some of the St. Louis Park Oriole fans off their seats. That is an impressive performance we're seeing by Trotter early on, and she serves it in, and you can see she did not use the jump serve. You will not see her do that for the rest of the match, most likely. And Windward tries to pooch it, but could not fool the Hawks front line on that. Number 8, Meyer comes up with a nice block. Excuse me, Bailey Harms, number 8. So into service, Emma Nicholas. And that ball sails wide right by the junior. Big mental error there by the Hawks. Tie match, and out comes Rachel Lang for the Orioles, and in comes Reagan Alexander. Hopefully she's rested and ready to go. They need her to play well if they're gonna win game 5 against a very good Hawks team. Trotter in the back row. Ostad tries to get it windward, and that was not a great set by Ostad, albeit it was a very difficult twisting behind the back tripe set to windward, but it got a little too close to the net. So serving is number 8, Bailey Harms. Up 1, 8-7. Ostad, this time to Kim Lindgren, blocked at the net, and the point on the net violation goes to the Hawks as they open up a 2-point lead here. And now we have a timeout. Not sure which side took it. Probably the Orioles, so this will be a 1-minute timeout. Looking at the Chaska Hawks, they certainly look better than their 0-3 schedule, but when I look at the teams they've played, I think 3 of the top teams in high school volleyball for the state of Minnesota. Number 1, they lost 3-1 to Lakeville South. And that was on the road back on Tuesday, August 29th. Then they played 2 days later at home against powerful Hopkins teams, and they lost in 3 straight games. And then they played at Prior Lake, who has a very strong team this year as well. So their 0-3 record is deceptive. They've been playing some excellent competition. So to serve is Harms, number 8 for the Hawks. And there's the set for Kim Lindgren, and it's blocked. I believe that was Coley Hennon, the senior, 5'10", got that block, and a 3-point lead now for Bailey Harms and the Chaska Hawks. Lindgren with the bump, Ostad, and Trotter lets it fly. Her fifth spike in a row for a point. She is really stepping up big for these St. Louis Park Orioles, and so powerful that Mallory Heyer, number 7 for the Hawks, could not stop it. So now, Windward to serve. Look out. Oh, wow. What vision by Mallory Heyer. I think that was on purpose. She took let that ball go off the right side of her hand, so it took a really unique, sharp angle. Watch this, she saw that. I don't think that was, well, maybe it was a miss hit, but boy, if it was, she got lucky then. Otherwise, well placed. Reagan Alexander, she's been coming up short late, but this time she goes too long. I think she's a bit tired out there. She doesn't seem to be jumping quite as high, and that's what can cause those balls to go long. Lindgren with the bump to Windward, and Hannah Howell gets one off. And oh my, the Hawks somehow came up with that after a really strong spike. So another timeout by the Orioles, as this game 5 is starting to get away from them. At the front line, they're not quite as sharp as they've been in the prior games tonight. So the Orioles, they really need to suck it up and get that intensity back. Find that extra gear here late in the match, nearing the 2-hour mark. We started 20 minutes late at 7:20. It's now 9:15. This grueling, long 5-game match. So they're down 5, and serving for the Hawks for the second time in game 5 is Dana Schindler. And McIntosh saves it to Windward. Lindgren tries to pooch it, and it falls and drops for a point. And boy, did they need a point coming out of that timeout. They took 2 timeouts in a row there. And that was a smart move by Whitney, Mariota, Seaman, and the serve by Kim Lindgren. Siri Olsen's got to get over. Maddie McIntosh, oh, just barely gets it over. And there's Coley Hennon, and it goes wide left. So now following those 2 timeouts, Park has got 2 points in a row, and wisely, in a game of a chess match here, Sue Murphy, the head coach for the Hawks, calls timeout right back. She knows that there's that shot that went long by number 3 for the Hawks. I was saying Sue Murphy, she has this 3-point lead, and in my experience, teams that come back from a deficit in midway points of these games tend to carry on and win. So rather than let them get behind, she calls timeout real early after just giving up 2. So she sits down. Orioles come out of their break on somewhat of a roll here, following their 2 timeouts. So let's see if the Hawks timeout works in the same way and turns momentum back towards them. All right, Kim Lindgren, number 4, the senior, to serve. And it goes to the back row, Rambolt 5. Schindler. Lindgren. Trotter, this is her first miss. She looked like she was a little bit asleep at the switch. Didn't expect it. So we need her to concentrate here. You're an Orioles fan, 14-10 now. And Anna Doolittle, number 4, will serve for the Hawks. McIntosh, nice job handling that, almost handcuffed her. This time Trotter gets it over nicely. Oh, and it just goes off Windward's hand, and now the Hawks have opened up. Oh, that is the victory, that's right. 15 is the game point, my mistake. So unfortunately for the St. Louis Park Orioles, they let game 5 slip away, and they lose game 5 and the match 3-2. So for Paul Borgen, and I'm Robert Christensen. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again from ParkTV 16 Sports.